Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I think the uniqueness of the Reggae Girls is they embody the national motto of Jamaica, which is out of many one people. So when you look at the entirety of the Jamaica squad, you have dark-skinned girls, mixed-race girls, girls who have black and Asian in them. You also have the homegrown players, so like your Bunny Shaw, your Konya Plummer, your Den Blackwood. So what that means in terms of from a grassroots perspective is girls who are born in Jamaica can look at a Bunny Shaw and hear that authentic accent and say, you know, if Bunny can make it, then so can I. Once you hear that authenticity, that raw Jamaican accent, they should be able to look at a Bunny Shaw who's now a captain to say, if Bunny can do it, especially if you come from the same community, the same parish as her, if she can do it, then so can we.
It's great to be here. I know that you're probably the biggest supporters of the Reggae Girls. So what you do and the message that you spread for the girls, it's really appreciated.
Crystal, I gotta give it to her. I've heard a lot of guys say she's the reason why they start off to watch female football. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm pushing her out there to keep on doing your thing. Don't get discouraged. You have a band of brothers behind you. And what we try to do is to get female who think like you know, in the game. Right, Siobhan? So
Yeah,
enough
because
respect to you, Crystal, and keep fighting.
yeah,
Thank
because as you mentioned, a lot of persons, because I think the Reggae Girls has been the most successful team in our football, and I think a lot of that was underrated. So what you've done for the local aspect of Jamaicans, you've brought that sense of admiration to the persons know that hey, it's not just the boys, the
Yep.
females as well. The females have the love as well, and honestly, if it wasn't for someone like you, Crystal, the YouTube space would just be crowded with the reggae boys, reggae boys, reggae boys.
Yep.
Yeah, can't outside, you know. How much touch that? Pressure me not shot. Alright. You mean? I can't shot outside, you know. Yes. Wait a minute. Man, call it, man. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Play. 1, 2. 1, 2. What? Shot. Coming out of the way. Okay, put sync yang.
My followers, how are you all? Good afternoon, good evening, possibly good morning. All depends on where you are in the world. Welcome back to another live stream. I did promise you guys that I'll be back to give you guys my reaction there to Steve McLaren's post-match conference after yesterday's 2-1 victory over Guadeloupe. So let me know how you guys want me to do this one. Do you want to dive right into the listening to the post-match press conference, or do you want me to start things off on a different note? If you've already listened to the post-match press conference there with Steve McLaren, please don't ruin it for me. I made a deal with you guys that I wouldn't listen to it until I do my live stream with you guys. So it's gonna be my first time hearing what the gaffer had to say. Had to like delay my live stream for a little bit. I asked my brother to send me a copy of the press conference. So you guys are relatively quiet. Do remember to go ahead and hit the like button. If you haven't hit the like button, I'm not really sure what you're waiting on. It does not cost you a penny. Let's go ahead and see if I can throw a question at you there in the comment section. Far too quiet from my liking. Let me see if I can get a poll started and you guys could go ahead and answer that one for me. I'm assuming you guys don't mind how I kickstart the show. All right, so go ahead and answer that poll there in the comment section for me. Unstoppable, big up yourself, Unstoppable. Hope you're in good health. To those of you who are silently watching from the comfort of your own home, go ahead and hit that like button and big up yourself. I hope you guys there are all in great health. While you're at it, do let me know who is your player of the match. My man of the match, I'm just going to go out there and say it. Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, it is our captain or a skipper, Mr. Andre Blake. Let me know if you guys think differently to myself. I'm not really sure how you can, but perhaps, you know, we watch the game differently, different pairs of eyes. You probably interpret things and analyze things different to myself. So if you have a player of the match that isn't Andre Blake, will be interesting to hear from yourself. Drop it in the comment section if you fancy joining me on the stream. Let me go ahead and drop a link to the stream. I don't think we're going to have any technical difficulties with you guys jumping on my live stream tonight, because I think I figured out why there was an issue on the last live stream. So we should be good to go. All right. So I am Unstoppably saying Blake. Blake is your player of the match. I think me and you are singing from the same hymn sheet. I think what I'll go ahead and do then is listen to the post-match conference, and then I will share my thoughts on last night's victory again over Guadeloupe. You should know what the scoreline was, and if you don't, I'll give you a gentle reminder. Last night's game finished 2-1 to the Reggae Boys, thanks to goals from Leon Bailey and Jonathan Russell. Big up to Thierry Ambrose as well from Guadeloupe. Let's go ahead and listen to this press conference, hear what Steve McLaren has to share with us, and then we'll continue with the rest of the show. Okay, if you're just joining, please do remember to hit the like button. I don't want to sit here and talk to a screen, so please do go ahead and also drop some comments in the comment section. That's what it's there for. So do make use of the comment section. Okay.
Post-match press conference between Jamaica and Guadeloupe in the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup. Allow me to introduce at the main table coach Steve McLaren of Jamaica. I remind you that for questions you can raise your hand and introduce yourself with your name and media organization to the...
I'm going to play this two ways, so let me know if you can hear. I prefer it a second way, a different way. So let me know if you can hear the post-match conference. I'm about to play it in about 2 seconds, okay?
The player of the match, congratulations. The player of the match, congratulations.
No, that is not it. That is for the second part of the show. So let's go ahead and give this one a play.
Welcome to the post-match press conference between Jamaica and Guadeloupe in the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup. Allow me to introduce at the main table coach Steve McLaren of Jamaica.
How's the audio? I prefer it this way than my initial attempt. So let me know if you guys can hear the post-match press conference. He hasn't started yet. I think you've just got the press officer there, Mr. Simon Preston, doing the introduction before the press conference gets underway. So let me know if you guys can hear the audio. I can hear it from my end nice and clear. So if you can't hear it, do let me know in the comment section. I'm about to give it another play. Okay.
For questions, you can raise your hand and introduce yourself with your name and media organization to the one that you represent. The media that are present virtually can request their space by touching the raise your hand button. So we'll now open the floor for questions from members. Hello, coach. That's one victory, but very frustrating points, but from the tone and body language of the team walking off, maybe a little bit of disappointment there. You want to explain that disappointment if there is any after the victory?
Yeah, we always focus on performance, and I thought the first half was excellent, despite going a goal down. We dominated possession, 60-40. We created chances, opportunity, but we controlled the game. So I said at half time, delighted. We had to make 1 or 2 changes. Dimmy had a little niggle, so we made that change, and a little one in midfield with Dwayne. And then we knew they'd come out the second half. This is what they do. They're a very good opportunity. We saw them play against Panama, and yeah, they did the same thing. They went man to man, and caused Panama problems. And they had quite a few chances against Panama, so we knew that they would do that. But we lost composure, and we lost shape and structure, and we didn't cope with the physicality of the man-to-man. And instead of playing over the press and over the man-to-man, we played into it, which caused problems. Then, as always, in the last 10 minutes, including injury time, they're going to get forward and they're going to put crosses into the box and set plays. And we thank Andre Blake for the 3 points. We talked about that before the game. And, our goalkeepers winning games. And that second half performance, and certainly later on, he made 2 or 3 wonderful saves, which got us the points.
Yeah, you just mentioned Andre Blake. I was going to ask you that, but let me go back to the first half. Leon Bailey's aggression, multiple shots on goal, obviously scoring one, and a potential second, but I think I want to go to John Russell. Can you see Leon's aggression in the first half?
Yeah, but the first half was exactly went to plan perfect. I thought he was excellent with John Russell. So, as we said, we dominated ball, dominated the game. I think they allowed us maybe to do that.
I don't know what you guys make of the repeated term of dominating the first half, even without the stats. Got the stats up on screen there for you guys' purpose more than myself. It didn't feel like we dominated the first half. I think the scoreline there probably is one of those situations where you can potentially say that the scoreline doesn't tell the bigger picture. Maybe more so for the second half as opposed to the first half. But even that being said, I wouldn't say that we dominated the first half. Give you some stats there for the first 45. You should be able to see this one on the screen in front of you. If you can't see it, don't worry, I've got you covered. So first half possession there, ball possession it was 55% to Jamaica, 45% to Guadeloupe. So there's a 10% difference there between the two sides. So the repeated use of the term dominate kind of feel like you're flattering yourself a little bit there. Do let me know what you make of what's been said in the post-match conference there by the gaffer, Steve McLaren. Big chances created in the first 45. 2. I think that one there is the 2 chances there by Leon Bailey, both hitting the woodwork. So that would have been the post as well as the crossbar. So again, the big chances there from the first 45. For the first 45, 2 for Jamaica, 0 for Guadeloupe. Total shots 6 for Guadeloupe, 5 for Jamaica. So they managed to get 1 better than us for the first 45. Goalkeeper saves 1 apiece. Corner kicks 4 to Jamaica, 1 to Guadeloupe. Passes. Here's where you got a bit of a significant difference there. 205 for Jamaica, 174 for Guadeloupe. Tackles 6 apiece. Free kicks, there's only 1 difference there for the free kicks in terms of number of kicks. 6 for Guadeloupe, 5 for Jamaica, and yellow cards 1 apiece. So again, I'm not really sure. I think he's flattering himself there with the excessive use of dominating the first 45, but I don't know, maybe I'm misinterpreting that one. Do correct me in the comment section if you think differently to myself. I'm going to go ahead and play the rest of that press conference, and as per usual, I will stop whenever I feel necessary, or if you guys tell me to pause in the comment section, then obviously I will go ahead and do so. Unstoppable, Energy 876, Ronaldo, and Young Kings Entertainment, big up yourselves in the comment section. I hope that you're all in good health.
We turned, then we got the ball wide, we created chances, and Leon was good about a hat trick in the first half. So we all reflecting, delighted with that, and it was a bit of a what we call a Jekyll and Hyde performance. In the second half, we just lost our composure. We knew half time we needed a third goal, and all the way to the 100th minute, we knew we needed a third goal. We had opportunities, we didn't take them, and credit to Guadeloupe, they pushed and pushed and pushed, and we nearly got punished. So
Welcome to the Bay Area. What was the key to control the emotions and score two goals in the first half after Guadalupe? And I do have a follow-up. Thank you so much.
And what was the key to getting those 2 goals in the first half?
I think we played good football. We controlled possession. We used the wide areas very well. We made lots of runs in behind Guadeloupe.
Again, I think maybe I don't know, look, I'm just a fan first before journalist, reporter, content creator, fan first. And of course, the gaffer was live and direct from the game itself, sitting in his managerial seat. So he can probably say that, you can argue and say that when you watch the game inside the stadium, and this is not to belittle anyone, by the way, when you watch the game inside the stadium, it's different to watching it from home. I think that that's something that carries its own truth. Nevertheless, though, it does feel like we watched a completely different game. I'm going to continue to someone is asking, was that Simon asking the question? No, Simon was reiterating the question. So he wasn't asking the question. He was just reiterating what the journalist had asked McLaren. I'm going to pull that one, rewind a little bit and then bring it, press play and then go ahead listening to what McLaren is saying. So let's just pull that one back just a little bit.
Those 2 goals in the first half.
I think we played good football. We controlled possession. We used the wide areas very well. We made lots of runs in behind Guadeloupe, caused them problems. And
yeah, again, before I forget, in the lead up to those 2 goals, obviously, to reiterate, Thierry Ambrose broke the deadlock there for Guadeloupe, and we came back in some, strong fashion, instant response to not only found the leveler, but to subsequently find the match winner on the stroke of half time. But I do remember prior to those 2 goals there, where we were seeing some areas of what do you want to call it, individual brilliance, if you want to call it desperation, to each their own. One of those moments there came from my man of the match, Andre Blake, where he made a pass to Leon Bailey. I think this might have been the shot at goal from Liam Bailey, which hit the crossbar, and that's almost in good look, good vision from not only Leon Bailey but also from the captain himself. But I think that's them trying to make something out of nothing, trying to seize the moment. Saw an opportunity, went for it. Unfortunately, it didn't come to fruition because of the crossbar, but not sure I entirely agree with McLaren. But again, I'm going to let this one play and stop wherever I feel necessary.
They got me both down, then I got disappointed. Leon Bailey was good man, true. And the game could have been over by half time. With 2-1, still the third. And credit to Guadeloupe. We saw them doing it against Panama. They did it against us, and we didn't control it. That's all.
Overall, let's talk about the Thank you.
I like the first half. I like the way that we played, controlled possession. Our patterns were working. We got speed up front. We used that. We used the width. I thought Dexter was very good on the right with Leon Bailey and John Russell on the left hand side. Also with Jimmy, got the second goal. So, half time I was very pleased. I had to make 2 changes, but we just lost control in the second half, and then it was what I call a gun and run game, like a basketball game, and you're always susceptible to conceding. But you're also with a little more craft be able to get the third goal. Instead, we had to bite our nails until the final whistle.
Congratulations on win there, Brian. At the end of the first half, when you got the 2 goals, I think it was that. It seemed like one off. They just kind of lost where they were defensively, and then at kind of the end of the game, your team lost a little bit of the shape, and the 3 were right back. You feel like you were able to take advantage of that, make that forward. And also, how fortunate you feel that just stay you're out of here with 3 instead of 1.
Yeah, but you need a goalkeeper to do his job, and that's his job to make saves. It was a great save. And you're absolutely right. We were really pleased with the first half, but we did lose our shape. We weren't compact. Other than found gaps, especially in the wide areas where they opened it. So we were disappointed in that. I'm disappointed when we did break and had opportunities that our final ball, our lack of quality, just let us down in the end. We come away, it was important to win. We've won the game. 3 points is the most important. We didn't get much luck against Guatemala the last game, and we got a bit of luck towards the end of this game. And now we've got a big game against Panama, which we have to prepare for. And if we can play like the first half, we've got a chance. If we play like the second half, that's where we go home.
Collect 44 division, congratulations on victory and the 3 points. What are some of the positives that you feel like you can take into the clutch match at the against Canada fits back to food essentially?
Just the way we controlled, which is important. We controlled the game through possession and through rest defense and through our structure. And Guadeloupe got loose. They gamble a lot. They take risk, and structure always wins out. If you stay in it, we didn't stay in that structure. So against Panama, we need to make sure our structure is right, our discipline is right, and also our courage and our ability to take the ball and create opportunities, chances, because you saw, especially in the first half and occasions on the second, we can open teams up and create chances.
Let's take a few questions virtually. Rashid Parchment, good evening, go ahead.
Rashid Parchment here from the Zoom program. So, what do you think that you also describe the planning high performance?
Question, and you're absolutely right about mentality, and we lost a bit of composure. It was quite even, but the last 10-15 minutes, including injury time, they just took a lot of risk. I'm surprised the goalkeeper didn't start playing in our half as well, because they had to take risk. And generally,
what's he talking about? What was even? Is he saying that the second half was even? Because again, the second half felt very nerve-wracking, especially towards the latter stage of the game. You guys, I'm not sure if you can make up the stats on screen in front of you, but in terms of the second half stats, ball possession, 59% possession for Guadeloupe 41 for Jamaica. Big chance created 2 for Guadeloupe, 1 for Jamaica. Total shots 10 for Guadeloupe, 2 for Jamaica. Goalkeeper saves 3 for Andre Blake, Jamaica, 1 for Guadeloupe. Corner kicks 5 for Guadeloupe, 0 for Jamaica. Passes 212 for Guadeloupe, 161 for Jamaica. Tackles 8 apiece. Free kicks 8 apiece, yellow cards 3 for Jamaica, 2 for Guadeloupe. So again, I disagree with his take on not only just the first 45, but subsequently on the second 45 as well. Want to hear what you guys make of what the gaffer has said so far pertaining to those line of questions there from the post-match conference of the Guadeloupe victory, beating Guadeloupe 2-1 on last night's occasion.
We're good with our structure, with our mentality, we're good with our defending, but we gave them too many opportunities. So it's like everything I say, it's what happens in both boxes. We failed to get the third in the second half, and didn't defend the box very well in the second half, and we relied on Andre Blake to make 1 or 2 fantastic saves to get us the points. So, as you say, half-time satisfied at the end. Not happy.
Thank you, Rashid. And finally, let's take Jason Hall. Go ahead, Jason.
Mr. Hall, Jason Buddha TV here. Congrats on the win, coach. Big 3 points. Just wanted to ask, it was very noticeable in the first half that Guadeloupe gave us a little bit more space to play and build on.
Yeah.
When it decided to go a bit more man-to-man in the second half, a lot like what Guatemala did to us in the first game. And I have to warn you, coach, I think Panama is going to give us a big dose of that again. So what do you see and what do you help us to take that structure with the team?
It's a great question. Something we'll certainly look at over the next couple of days, and we have to get correctly right. And everything is about structure and discipline. Recovery to shape when you lose the ball, and I felt the left back. In the first half, we saw the danger once or twice also, and it's important. When you play a team like that, you go man to man. You have to beat the press. We failed to do that with the ball, but you can go over the press, which we talked about a lot. We got the pace to do that. We didn't use it in the second half. We had Cephas and Warner and still Leo problems, but I felt we didn't utilize the speed of our wide players enough in the second half.
We'd like to thank Coach Steve for his time. Remember that you can find the complete conferences on the Conquer platform. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's the end of the post-match press conference there from the gaffer Steve McLaren. Again, while I continue with the show, do let me know what you make of the press conference there from the gaffer. It is a little bit difficult to digest, isn't it? It's always a tough listen or a tough watch when it comes to McLaren. But I will say this, that at least in terms of positivity there, at least these press conferences, be it the pre or post press conferences, for where CONCACAF competition is concerned, it has been much better than those press conferences there for the non-competitive, so the friendly matches there where Reggae Boys are concerned. So before I forget this one, in terms of our opponents, you're looking at the stats from the second 45. I think I should go ahead before I touch on Guadeloupe. I'll go ahead and read out those stats there. Or should I do a overall stats? I think we've done the stats from both 45. Okay, let me do the second 45 again there for you guys. So ball possession wise, 59% for Guadeloupe, 41 for Jamaica. Big chance created, 1 apiece. Total shots, 10 for Guadeloupe, 2 for Jamaica. Goalkeeper saves, 3 for Jamaica, 1 for Guadeloupe. Corner, 0 for Jamaica. I'm not sure if that's accurate. Did we not have a corner in the second 45? Someone rejog my memory. 5 for Guadeloupe. Passes, 212 passes there for Guadeloupe, 161 for Jamaica. Tackles, 8 apiece. Free kick, 8 apiece. Yellow cards, 3 for Jamaica, 2 for Guadeloupe. So before I forget my lose my train of thoughts there, in terms of Guadeloupe, pleasantly surprised by them, and I think that's a good thing when we're talking about football in our region. I don't want to go up against an opponent that won't put us to the test, that won't, throw the sink at us. I want to go up against opponents that pretty much think nothing of us and aren't afraid of who we are, whether it be because we have the bigger name players, look better and on paper or more superior on paper. I want them to take the game to us. And I think that's what we saw on last night's occasion with Guadeloupe, and also the game before with Guatemala, where they beat us to a lone goal. Narrowly, I would say, if we're being fair and honest with ourselves, narrowly secured 3 points, but a win is a win. So before I look at Jamaica and our team performance, in terms of Guadeloupe, I think they can be proud of themselves, irrespective of now putting 2 back-to-back defeats in their back pockets. I think if you can find the negatives, then you can at least seek to find those positives. I think you have some positive and negatives in a lot of these scenarios that we look at, where the analysis of the football matches are concerned. I know when you speak directly after a game, you're probably likely to sound more negative than positive because you're dealing with raw emotions, and I'm guessing this is probably why I said, you know what, let's have a conversation the following day where I'm probably a lot less drained and I'm able to think much clearer, I should think. So positives there for Guadeloupe. To reiterate, they broke the deadlock. So in my opinion, that's a massive positive. They scored the opening goal through Thierry Ambrose, and I think it was a lovely, well-taken goal. I can say that because I can appreciate good team performance irrespective of who the team is. Yes, it is our opponent. Obviously, I wouldn't want them to have beaten us, and thankfully they didn't. But nevertheless, they did break the deadlock, got the opening goal, and that made it 3 goals in 2 games, despite the losses. I think what that tells you is a little bit about the resilience of this team. They've got this resilience about them, as you guys saw there, particularly towards the latter stage of that game. They've got this fighting spirit in them. They were creating a number of chances. Thankfully to the football gods, it didn't materialize. It didn't come to fruition because it could have spelled trouble for us. They were relentless. I don't know about you guys, but me sitting and watching that game, it felt quite uncomfortable towards the end. We were on the edge of our seats, nail biting stuff, hands in your mouth. As I said, they made it an uncomfortable watch. It was not a comfortable watch during that second 45. Even certain periods of the first 45, for me, it didn't feel comfortable because it took a while. It kind of felt like a slow burn. It took a while for us to find some form of rhythm. And I think that's the reason why you saw a couple of players there trying to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, trying to make something out of nothing. First players, I believe, if memory serves me well, to try that was that particular pass there from Andre Blake to Leon Bailey, which again, I believe that was the pass that hit the woodwork, and Leon Bailey's second chance after that hit the post. So both chances, 2 early chances there from Leon Bailey. I should say 3 chances there from Leon Bailey, because he really and truly should have ended that ended the first 45 with a hat trick. He had or maybe even 4 goals. He took a pop at goal, which I believe was comfortably saved by the goalkeeper. And then as I said, those 2 chances there hitting the woodwork, and then finally he managed to find the back of the net. So minimum, outside of that comfortable save there by the goalkeeper, he should have at least had 4 goals. But talking about Guadeloupe, I have not rewatched the match. I'm not going to sit here and act like I have. I've not found the time to go ahead and rewatch the match. But thinking back in hindsight, aside from the fact that it was an uncomfortable watch for me, it looked as if, now correct me if I'm wrong, it looked as if there is a case there for them to say that they were robbed by VAR. I don't know what you guys make of that. Again, don't shoot me. I've not gone back and rewatched the game, but seeing that live and direct, it looked to me that VAR were unfair on that occasion. Do let me know if you've managed to see that VAR decision there that was waived against Guadeloupe. Let me know if you think the goal should have stood. And I think they've got some defensive tenacity about them. I think, as I said, certain periods of the game, they made it extremely difficult for us, uncomfortable, competitive, and a applaudable performance from Guadeloupe, irrespective of the result. Obviously, we know that football is all about results, but I think it's one of those games there. If I was from Guadeloupe, I could say, yes, we lost, but I'm not mad at the loss because the boys went out there and they gave it their utmost best. And that's all you want from your team, really and truly, aside from the obvious, which is to get the win. Friendly or a competitive match, you always want to win. But when your team loses, you hope that they lose in a way that makes you feel proud. And now, if I was a Guadeloupe fan watching my team play against one of the kings from CONCACAF, then I should think that I'll be feeling extremely proud of my team's performance. Long may it continue in terms of their improvements. I hope it's a rapid improvement for Guadeloupe. And I'm saying that because, it's only going to make the Caribbean and CONCACAF football better. I don't want to go up against a team that's going to make it easy for us. I don't want to go up against pushovers because that does nothing for us in terms of helping us to get better as a team. And quite clearly there, you would have heard from Leon. I should think you all heard that post-match interview there from one of the goal scorers on last night's occasion, Leon Bailey. And if you haven't heard it, don't worry, I do have you covered. I'm going to try and see if I can play that audio there for you before I segue and talk about the Reggae Boys. So as I said before, I wrap this one up where Guadeloupe are concerned. Big up to them. Long may it continue. I hope that they continue to get better and better and they do make some improvements. Now, as I said, with the positives, you have the negatives and vice versa. In terms of negatives there for Guadeloupe, I think the most obvious one is the inability to hold on to a lead. I believe they scored, let me just double check this one. Let me just check what time they scored. I think they scored in like the 32nd minute, but let me just double check this one for Guadeloupe. So they scored inside the 32nd minute, right? And 9 minutes later, Jamaica pegged them back. And some 4+ minutes later, John Russell took us out in front with pretty much put us in the driving seat to see this one out, and thankfully we did, beating them 2-1. So the negatives from that, for me, the most obvious one pertaining to Guadeloupe is that they had the inability to hold on to a lead. So you took the lead inside the 32nd minutes, less than 9 minutes later, you've been pegged back. Some 4+ minutes later, your opponents are out in front. Yes, let's remind ourselves, if we want to be fair, because if it happened to us, I'm sure we'll be crying and fussing and calling about, corruption, this, corruption, that. In my opinion, there was shouts for a controversial disallowed goal. And with that being said, if we want to be honest with ourselves, I think that tells you that this game was won by fine margins. They could have leveled the score in there towards the latter stages of the match, but thankfully the football gods were for some reason on our side and not theirs. So overall, with Guadeloupe, despite their positives there, and I think their positives outweigh their outweighs their negatives, but at the end of the day, football is a game of results. In essence, in terms of the negatives there, they just haven't been clinical enough. They just weren't clinical enough to do the necessary. I think perhaps if VAR worked in their favor, they could have either finish the game with a deserved draw or seal a dramatic dramatic late victory over us, because that's how it felt. That's how it felt. So it's quite something there what happened pertaining to the controversial VAR disallowed goal, because that really could have just completely changed the trajectory of the ending of that match there. There was somewhat 8+ minutes of additional time, that is Fergie time plus tax, and it was almost a blockbuster finish, and the protagonist could have been Guadeloupe, but again, thankfully the football gods were firmly on the boys in black, green and gold. So big up to Guadeloupe. I hope that football in your show continue to improve. You're a breath of fresh air. Thoroughly enjoyed watching you, and it's a bit of a shame about the result. One interesting fact there as it relates to Guadeloupe, they are a French overseas department. And as I said on last night's show, they are not affiliated with FIFA, but nevertheless they are a member of the Caribbean Football Union and CONCACAF. So that is the reason why, even though you won't see them in a FIFA World Cup, you will be seeing them in CONCACAF competitions. And I think it just makes that is such a wonderful story. Well, for me anyway, because I'm thinking, what are you guys playing for? Because it's not like you're playing to go to the World Cup. And that's not to be shady or anything. You're not playing to go to the World Cup, but here you are showing up for your country, and you're not just showing up, but you're not just here to make up the numbers. You know, you're holding yourselves accountable. You can hold your head high. I'm sure the people of Guadeloupe would have been proud of your performance last night. You guys there in the chat, I will be turning my attention to you guys in a short while. Before I do so, I reckon before I segue into the conversation there pertaining to our performance where the Reggae Boys are concerned, again, big up to our keeper, our hero. I will be talking a little bit more about Andre Blake before I close off on the show, but I think we should go ahead and talk about Leon Bailey. They're a very humble post-match interview there from Leon Bailey. You can go ahead and listen to this one with me before we continue with the rest of the show. Okay?
Player of the match, congratulations for the result and of course for being the player of the match. Please give us your impression of this match.
First of all, thank you, but honestly, I appreciate that I won player of the match, but today for me, the player of the match is Andre Blake. For me personally, because he held us in the game today, and if it wasn't for him today, we wouldn't really got nothing out of the game. So, but as you can see, we have a lot of work to do. We felt strong from the very beginning of the game, but as you can see towards the end, it got really bad for us, and we were hanging on. And this is not how, if we want to win games, this is not how we have to compete. We have to be more dominant, and I think there's a lot of work to do, and I think we just have to realize that quick and try to do that and come back stronger for the next game.
It was a difficult game, how to face the last match of group stage.
Yeah, it's difficult, but you know, we got the 3 points, which was most important, obviously, but in terms of performance, I think we have a lot more work to do, and if we want to win the game on the 24th, we have to definitely come back stronger, work harder, and ensure that in moments like that we are stronger and we show more fighting spirit, more strength, more togetherness, and hopefully we can do that in the next game.
The player of the match, congratulations for the result and of course for being.
I'm gonna let you guys listen to that one once more, okay? Because maybe you just tuned into the live stream. So we're currently listening to Leon Bailey. He was voted the player of the match on last night's occasion, beating Guadeloupe 2-1. And you can hear his post-match post-match interview there. Let me know what you guys make of what was said. As I said, a very humble response there from Leon Bailey, awarded the player of the match from the horse's mouth. In his opinion, the award should have been given to his captain, his skipper, Andre Blake. So let me know what you guys make of what Leon is saying. It does sound kind of pissed and frustrated, but maybe my ears are fooling me. He sounds disappointed. I do like the the transparency of what's coming from Leon Bailey, though. He sounds like a man that's concerned about the current nature of his team. So let me go ahead and play that one once more, and then we can segue and talk about the team as a unit, if there is one.
Being the player of the match, please give us your impression of this match.
First of all, thank you, but honestly, I appreciate it. I won player of the match, but today for me, the player of the match is Andre Blake. For me personally, because he held us in the game today, and if it wasn't for him today, we wouldn't really got nothing out of the game. So, but as you can see, we have a lot of work to do. We felt strong from the very beginning of the game, but as you can see towards the end, it got really bad for us, and we were hanging on. And this is not how, if we want to win games, this is not how we have to compete. We have to be more dominant, and I think there's a lot of work to do, and I think we just have to realize that quick and try to do that and come back stronger for the next game.
It was a difficult game, how to face that last match of group stage.
Yeah, it's difficult, but you know, we got the 3 points, which was most important, obviously, but in terms of performance, I think we have a lot more work to do, and if we want to win the game on the 24th, we have to definitely come back stronger, work harder, and ensure that in moments like that we are stronger and we show more fighting spirit, more strength, more togetherness, and hopefully we can do that in the next game.
The player of the match, congratulations.
So I was trying to make some note of what Leon Bailey said. There's some of the things that stood out to me pertaining to his thoughts and analysis from the 2-1 victory over Guadeloupe. Leon was one of the goal scorers. Bare minimum, he should have at least wrapped up a hat-trick. However, he was unfortunately denied by the woodwork in the first 45. First, the crossbar, followed by the post. So a couple of things there that he touched on in terms of the improvements, then the necessary improvements. I believe he said something, paraphrasing, that we need to be a bit more dominant if we want to compete. You know, we need to be stronger. We need to showcase some fighting spirits. And he also echoed there that we have a lot more work to do. So clearly it seems as if the fan base and the player there, Leon Bailey, are all singing from the same hymn sheet. I see you guys there in the comment section. I will be giving you guys your big ups in a few. I'm not ignoring you guys. I can see you all there in the comment section. I do appreciate each and every one of you for blessing me with a moment of your time. So I will be turning to you guys in a short while. Okay, so just bear with me. Let me see this one out. So similar to Guadeloupe, I guess we've in the case of Jamaica, glossing over last night's game, you can see the table there in Group C, which is where we're situated. The league leaders there, you guys already know how this one is Panama. Maximum points there over 2 games. They are being closely followed by Jamaica as well as Guatemala. And unfortunately, Guadeloupe, they sit rock bottom of the table with 2 losses in their back pocket. In an ideal scenario in terms of who will progress to the next round, Panama, I would like for Jamaica to beat Panama, obviously, but we also have to worry about Guatemala. So in an ideal world, what I would want is for Guadeloupe to secure their first win. I think they deserve, not because it will work in our favor, but I just think for all their hard work, their grit, their determination, I think, you know, to come all this way, I think it will be fair for them to close off on their involvement in the CONCACAF, the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup, by going home with a win in their back pocket. I think it's the least that they deserve. And in doing so, pending that we also go ahead and do what's necessary against Panama, which is an absolute must win, is also a must win match there for Guatemala, which I think expressed the vast disappointment there by the Reggae Boys fans. I think in hindsight, what they were hoping for was for the Reggae Boys to beat Guatemala by some distance, so that we can cushion ourselves with some all-important goal difference. You know what goal difference can do to teams when you're looking at knockout competition. So that is how we're looking there. Again, let me read this one out for you. In Group C, we have Panama with maximum points from 2 games. That is 6 points in their back pocket, closely followed by Jamaica with 3 points. Just in third place is Guatemala, also on 3 points. And again, rock bottom of the table in Group C is Guadeloupe with 0 points in their back pocket. Goal difference, Panama leading the group there, not only on points but also on goal difference. 4 is their goal difference. Jamaica and Guatemala have 0 as their goal difference. Guadeloupe have a -4 as their goal difference. So that is how we're looking. And to give you guys some further information, we already know a few teams have qualified for the or guaranteed, I should say, their place in the knockout round of the tournament, and those teams are Mexico, Costa Rica, and USA. I guess we can go ahead and look at the table standing there for the rest of those groups. Don't know if you guys are going to be paying attention to the rest of the tournament if Jamaica bow out at the group stage, but in terms of the tournament there in its entirety, you can go ahead and cast your eyes on the screen in front of you. Let me go ahead and remove the banner there, so you can see Mexico 6 points from 2. Costa Rica also 6 points from 2. The goal difference there in Group A works in favor for Mexico. They have 3. Costa Rica have 2. -2 there for Dominican Republic. -3 for Suriname, and they both sit on 0 points apiece. We currently have a game going on in Group B. Group B, you have Canada. As things stand, that will be maximum points for Canada. They're currently leading Curacao 1 goal to the good. They have a goal difference of some superiority there. 7 is their goal difference. El Salvador closely following with 1 point in their back pocket, similar to Curacao. Both have 1 point in their back pocket. Goal difference of 0 there for El Salvador. Curacao -1 for their goal difference. Honduras sit rock bottom of the table, 0 points in their back pocket with a thumping -6 as their goal difference. In Group C, we already know how this one works out, but to reiterate, bring you all on the same page. Panama 6 points from 2. Jamaica 3 points from 2. Guatemala 3 points from 2. Guadeloupe 0 from 2. Goal difference there works in favor of Panama 4-0-0 for Guatemala, and Jamaica -4 for Guadeloupe. Group D, you have the USA, the hosts, leading their group 6 points from 2. And they are closely followed by the invitees, to put it politely, Saudi Arabia, with 3 points from 2. Haiti and Trinidad and Tobago, our Caribbean rivals, they have 1 point from 2, and 1 point from 2 for each team there. I was slightly confused. I was seeing a 3 and a 4. I was wondering what is going on here. And Haiti has a -1 goal difference. Trinidad and Tobago, they have a -5 goal difference. So that is how the group is looking there, all of the groups where the Gold Cup is concerned. So it's looking nail biting for certain groups, isn't it? Let's remind ourselves that the 4 group winners and 4 runners-up, 8 teams in total, will advance to the knockout round. Let me know if you're confident of Jamaica doing what is necessary in getting us to the knockout round. I will remind you all, though, that it does feel as if we are singing from 2 different hymn sheets. And when I say we, there's 3 of us. So the 12th man, the gaffer, Steve McLaren, as well as Mr. Michael Ricketts, the president of the Jamaica Football Federation. Big up to Owen Owen for bringing this one to my attention. It says here in bold, taken from the Jamaica Observer, Jamaica dreams of financial windfall should Reggae Boys win CONCACAF Showpiece Tournament. This one is dated June 17th, 2025. Such sounds so weird. I need to stop saying that. 2025 sounds so much better. So I know what some of you are going to be thinking. It's all about the money. All they think about is money, money, money. Well, football is a business, and for the business to tick, for the business to run, guess what? You're going to need money. What they choose to do with the money, that's an entirely different conversation. But like I said, I think we're all singing from the same hymn sheet here. Most certainly, the dream is always, when you're going into competition, the dream should always be to win it. No, irrespective, you have to have some ambition, and that's something that I said will be echoed this World Cup cycle where the Reggae Girls are concerned. No more, let's just qualify for the World Cup and pat ourselves on the back. You got to be a little bit more ambitious. You got to move the goalpost, test yourself, back yourself, and try to, if not lift some trophy or two, get as close as you can. So as it relates to what Mr. Michael Ricketts said here, in bold, you can hear he stated, although qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup is the Jamaica Football Federation's primary objective, President Michael Ricketts says he wants the Reggae Boys to win the CONCACAF Gold Cup to further boost local football. So the most important, let's see if we can pick out some important quotes there from the president, Mr. Ricketts. He says it's going to be tough because you really have really strong teams. We play Guadeloupe, and our last game is Panama, with whom we've always had difficulty. From there, you qualify for the last 8. Hopefully, we'll get into the semis and we'll take it from there. And it also says here, and I think even more telling, not only are we singing from the same hymn sheet, some of us, alongside Michael Ricketts and the vice captain, Damien Lowe, and I should think the captain, Andre Blake, is singing from the same hymn sheet, and pertaining to that frustration there that could clearly be observed by one of the goal scorers from last night's game, Leon Bailey. I think we're all pretty much paddling in the same boat here. Not only did Ricketts say the above, but he continued by saying, we really want to win the Gold Cup because we've never done that before. Damien Lowe and I had a discussion, and he said it's his 5th Gold Cup and he really wants to win this one. So I wanted to highlight that one there because the gaffer, Steve McLaren, he seems to be the odd one out. He seems to be the one that's not singing from the same hymn sheet compared to the rest of us. Why that is, only he can answer that one. I think that's probably a question there that he should answer in the next press conference. I don't know who's going to be the journalist to ask him that one, but yeah, I would like to know why the presidents and the head coach Steve McLaren singing from separate hymn sheets. What's that all about? Surely you're supposed to be singing from the same hymn sheet, because yes, McLaren is the boss, but there's a boss that sits above him, and that boss is Mr. Michael Ricketts, the president. So continuing with what I was saying there pertaining to the game itself, I know there's an abundance of frustration, but quite similar to Guadeloupe. If you can see the negatives, I think in most cases you can also echo the positives. So the positives they're taken from last night's game, you can see some info there on the screen in front of you. Let's go ahead and see what else you guys can see. Let's see. Okay, let's leave it at here. So this is the most relevant one. 2-1. So as it relates to the results itself, quite clearly football is a game of results. That's what it's all about. The end result is what counts best. Sometimes you can win a match and it can take you to qualifying for a major tournament, the promised land, the biggest tournament on the planet, the World Cup. If you do that, no one really cares how you managed to do it, because you managed to get the job done. The danger of that is in doing so, it could also have papered over a crack or two, and you don't really want that. But as it relates to yesterday's game, couple positives there. Unlike the opener there against Guatemala, at least on last night's occasion, a couple of the lads there had their shooting boots on, notably Leon Bailey as well as John Russell. And with that being said, obviously we opened our goal scoring account, which was an absolute must. Let's remind ourselves that we went into last night's game knowing that a draw wouldn't be enough. We needed to win, as did Guadeloupe. But as I said, football gods were clearly on our side, and we came into last night's match as the only team from our group not to have found the back of the net. So the fact that we went on to finding the equalizer, subsequently the winning goal, tells us that there is some positives from that. Yes, I know, the way that we finished that one was nerve-wracking, nail-biting, made us feel extremely uncomfortable. But nevertheless, before we even focus on any negatives, I definitely think that there's some positives there for us to at least appreciate. And as I said, football is a game of results, and what matters most above all, despite the clear areas of improvements that needs to be polished, is that we got the all-important 3 points. A few things that I think stood out from last night's game, one of which no doubt is resilience. Earlier on when I was talking about the positives there for Guadeloupe, brushing on the positives there for Jamaica, despite going 1-0 down round about the 32nd minute, we were able to respond in quick fashion. And that's something there that we've seen before recently in, let's say, the Unity Cup in the game against Nigeria, going down a goal to good, pulling them back. They went ahead 2-1, and we leveled the scoring and took that one to a penalty shootout. So it for me, that clear resilience there from the lads, with not only finding the equalizer but subsequently the winning goal. I think it echoes character and determination. They're being determined to fight for a result, and they needed to do so, and that's what we wanted. Bare minimum, we wanted to see some fight, because I think it's quite clear that we didn't see that in the opening match against Guatemala. So we saw some fight, we saw some determination. Overall, we saw some resilience, which was absolutely needed if we were going to get the all-important 3 points, and thankfully we did. And let's remind ourselves that we did so by scoring on the stroke of halftime. Perfect timing, I think, going into the end of the first 45, not firmly, but in the driving seat. Again, not firmly. 2-1 is a bit like 2-0. It's never a comfortable scoreline, but if you are the team with the 2-0 or the 2-1, I think that is somewhat of a confidence booster, especially when you do it on the stroke of halftime. I think it does generate some form of psychological edge. Again, it places you not firmly, but it does place you in the driving seat. And from there on out, it is down to you to take your team to the desired destination, and maybe even make room for the opponents as well. Because remember, when you're leading, you're in the driving seat, so your opponent shouldn't be taking you to no destination. You're supposed to be the driving. You're supposed to be taking them from A to B. Whether they want to go there or not is none of your business, because you're in the driving seat. You're not the passenger. They have to do as you instruct, not the other way around. And in terms of the attack, I don't think that we can brush over what we saw pertaining to the attackers there. They did their job. Their job is to attack. It is to score goals. It is to, if you can't score goals, find assists. And I think we got that from the attackers there on last night's occasion, which is much better than the performance or lack thereof from the 1-0 defeat to the hands of Guatemala. We also, in terms of positivity there, we saw ability. Can they get it done? Yes, they can. Again, we've seen this before. We've been in similar situation, needing to bounce back, needed to, take the monkey off your back, so to speak. And they've done it before in the past, and thank God they did it last night again, provided the pivotal win, which was absolutely necessary. So as I said, they do have the ability to do these things. And on last night's occasion, they managed to, for the time being, last night's occasion occasion, they got the job done, but obviously there's plenty of work to do pertaining to whether or not we will progress to the next stage of the knockout round where the CONCACAF Gold Cup is concerned. Again, I touched on this in the early half of the show, and echoing, drumming home from that positivity there, which is what we're discussing. We also I think saw few players either doing it or try to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Again, Bailey hitting the woodwork not once but twice, and as I said, it should have bare minimum had a hat trick, maybe 4 goals in total, but nevertheless he still managed to find himself on the score sheet, and he was voted the man of the match, though he humbly said that the man of the match should have been awarded to the captain, the skipper, Andre Blake. So again, showcasing the ability to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. We saw that from Leon Bailey on last night's occasion. Saw some glimpses of that by Damari Gray as well, standing up, holding themselves accountable, doing what they needed to do. And I must say, I've said it already, but I will double it down on this. That pass there in the early stages of the first 45 from Blakey to Leon, had that found the back of the net, that would have been a sublime goal. I'm not really sure what I would have loved more, the goal or the assist. I think that would have generated that type of conversation. What do you like more, the goal or the assist? I love those type of conversations, but unfortunately denied by, if memory serves me well, I think that one was denied by the crossbar. So in that moment, I think in hindsight, it did seem, it's not desperation. I know some people might translate it as desperation, but again, I think that is us trying to make something out of nothing, because I think if memory serves me well, at that point I think we were trying to generate some form of rhythm. So yeah, and Andre Blake, before this one slips my mind, again, it saved the day for us. Mr. Captain, fantastic hero, keeper, Andre the Giant, instrumental for me, to us not only winning the game and keeping our hopes of progressing to the knockout stage, but he undoubtedly kept us in the lead, and he kept us from potentially another embarrassing scoreline. Almost had the assist. So I think you can't argue against what Bailey said when he said, that actually the man of the match should have gone to Andre Blake. I'm not sure how they voted that one for Bailey to be the man of the match. I am not begrudging Leon Bailey, by the way. I don't really think there's much to argue about, but my man of the match would have been Andre Blake. But big ups to Leon Bailey. It's his award, and I hope that he holds on to it because he deserves it. And as I said, as it relates to the hero keeper there, Andre Blake saved us, in my opinion, from letting a crucial win slip through our fingers. In terms of the negatives there, as with the positives, you have the negatives. I think there was some you could identify a number of negatives within that performance there, irrespective of the victory. Defensively, I think we have some vulnerability at the back, and I'm saying that because if we didn't have some vulnerability pertaining to our defense, we wouldn't need our goalkeeper, our captain, to come up clutch, and he came up clutch on a number of occasions. And if you want to be honest with yourself, yes, I understand, if you're a patriot, whatever, pat yourself on the back. But when you're looking at a scoreline that says 2-1, it tells you, whether you like it or not, that the game was won by fine margins. The stats speak for themselves, not just the scoreline, but the stats most importantly. And I'm not really someone to always drum home on stats, but I think if you want to be fair, if you want to be honest, you want to give credit where credit is due and not just gloss over last night's results, you be admitting that, let truth be told, we won this one by fine margins. Had it not been for the intervention of VAR, which I think quite possibly saved us, I think we might have been looking at an embarrassing scoreline. And I'm saying embarrassing scoreline, but perhaps we need to humble ourselves there, because football in the Caribbean region, as I said, is improving. So yes, we are improving, but so are our neighbors and so on. So that one there was ruled offside. Thank heavens by VAR, but I think that goal should have stood. Again, I've not rewatched it, but at first glance, it looked like that one should have stood. And in terms of the negatives there, inconsistent. We are guilty as charged when it comes to inconsistency. Not really sure which Jamaica is going to show up. Even with Panama next up on the horizon, I can't tell you which Jamaica is going to show up. I can't tell you if they're going to play down or play up. I'm not really sure why they do that. I'm not sure why they do the whole playing down to their opponents, playing up to them. You're up for a fight when it's the bigger boys, but when you're dealing with teams, no disrespect, that's lesser than you play down to them. I'm not sure if that's to do with overconfidence. I'm not sure if that's a lack of respect, thinking that you're the big I am. But when you do things like that, when you play down to your lesser opponents and play up to your, whatever you want to say, opponents that's equal to you or bigger than you, in the grand scheme of things, you just look like all bark, no bite. You just look like a flat track bully. So I do hope that we get that out of our system and just do the necessary. When it's time to batter a team, batter them, and stop toying with people, because they're not toying with us at all. And the more we play down to these opponents, what's going to happen is you're just encouraging the other team to take a pop at you, because they're going to be looking and saying, if Guatemala can do that, if Guadeloupe can do that, what can we do? Surely we can have a say in this as well. So again, inconsistent in terms of the negatives there. I think individual brilliance, you can call it negative and positive depending on the context. It's great that we do have some players there that can generate some individual brilliance, but you don't want to always ride your luck on individual brilliance. So again, context is everything. So it can't just be a case of in terms of individual brilliance, we're looking at Blake, Bailey, Gray, and so on. Of course, these players are they tend to be heavily relied upon. It is the nature of the game, their name, and so on. So it's a given. But at the end of the day, football is a team sport, and I think again, Blake to Bailey, that pass there from the goalkeeper to Leon Bailey, which unfortunately didn't find the back of the net. I think that kind of tell its own story there in terms of that individual brilliance. Tactics, that is something that is still weighing heavy on my mind, because the gaffer came into the game against Guadeloupe, an absolute must-win match, and paraphrasing from his pre-match press conference, he quite clearly stated to us that it's not about tactics. I don't really know what he meant by that. Only he himself can tidy that one up. But in terms of tactics for last night's game, I think we are vulnerable, and you can see that we're vulnerable because we conceded first. Irrespective of the outcome of the match, the facts don't lie, end results don't lie. We conceded first, so there's probably a question there pertaining to the overall energy of the team. And again, I asked you guys a question there last night. I don't think any of you answered it. I said, paraphrasing, why are tactics important in football? I don't know if anyone wants to answer tonight, but for me, tactics in football is crucial, because they, in essence, provide a structured game plan, or at least they should provide a structured game plan which allows the team to do a number of things. So one of those number of things is to maximize their strength, and upon maximizing your strength, you would then be able to exploit your opponent's weaknesses. And also, if you're working with tactics, you should be able to coordinate individual efforts into cohesive team performance. I think we heard Bailey speaking on the lack of cohesiveness, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that stems from tactics. How do you build cohesion? That stems from tactics. Who gives you the tactics? The head coach and his his backroom staff. So again, tactics is absolutely important in football, not just because of maximizing one's strengths and exploiting your opponent weakness, but also it puts you in a position where you can adapt to changing game situations or scenarios, and looking and assessing and looking at how you can get the better of your opponent's strategies. And as it relates to tactics, it puts you, if you get it right, if you study your opponent, you should be able to figure out how to control the flow of the game. So when you're talking about controlling the flow of the game and tactics in mind, you're talking about things like your position, your possession, your defensive solidity, as well as your attacking thrust. Those are a couple of things I think that comes into mind when you talk about tactics. So when he's coming out and saying it's not about tactics, I'm not really sure what Steve McLaren is on, to be honest with you. But that's my thoughts there on last night's game. It's a little bit of a long-winded one. I'm going to turn my attention there to you guys in the comment section. Big up all of you who have hit the like button. Let me see what you guys are saying. Let's start this one from the top. Actually, I'm touching a couple of the comment section already, so I'll just touch on the ones who I haven't touched on. DJ Gigs Exquisite, big up yourself. Jordan Hyman, big up yourself. Make sure you subscribe to Jordan's TV YouTube channel, I should say. Martin Baker, big up yourself. I will keep an eye on the Curacao game. I see a couple of you talking about it. Young Kings Entertainment says McLaren, poor decision making will cost us big time, along with Merrin Garden. Let's see what the rest of you are saying there in the comment section. Martin Baker says the coach eyes are giving issues. You think he needs to take a trip to the opticians, is what Martin Baker is saying. DC saying it seems though Guadeloupe at a desperate time call for desperate measures mentality. Good shouts. Yeah, I would agree. They really did throw the kitchen sink at us. Jamaica underestimate Guatemala, why they lost. I believe so. So again, turning your nose down at the opponent. I'm not really sure who the hell we think we are. Maybe it's a DNA thing where we just naturally think that we're better than others when it comes to competition. But still, put some respect on your competition name, because they're going to be looking and they know that we carry that mindset where we think we are the nicest thing since sliced bread, and they're going to want to clip our wings just because of that mentality that we carry. Wayne Wignall, hope I didn't mispronounce your name. Guadeloupe going to beat Guatemala. You hear it here first, and I think they deserve it. One Umbrella Sports and Entertainment. Hi, Talawa. Good day to yourself. I hope you are in great health. Sebastian, I hope all of you there are in great health in the comment section. Goal Line Technology. Let's see. DC says, I wonder if Guadeloupe benefits from the French Football Federation in terms of training. Great question. I'm not going to lie to you. I do not know. But wonderful question. As we said, their official flag is the French flag, but they also have their regional flag. And I chose to use their regional flag only because I feel like identity-wise, that maybe look, I don't know no one from Guadeloupe, but maybe in terms of people there living in Guadeloupe, they probably identify more with the regional flag than the French flag. But whichever one you choose to use, it is still correct. He was being double teamed out there too. I wonder why he sounds frustrated. That is about Liam Bailey. That seems like a tactics by opposing team. Exactly. The ideal situation is for Guatemala to lose and we draw with Panama. I think you should never go into a game with the desire to want to draw, because that's not, you're giving yourself no safety net. I think the desire should be you want to win. Worst case scenario, if it doesn't come to fruition, you fall back on a draw. If you set yourself up to draw, then you could potentially find yourself falling back on a loss easily. Most of the French colonies are fully independent on the French, since Guadeloupe domestic clubs do participate in the French domestic cups. A little bit of knowledge there. That makes sense. Thank you. See what you guys are saying. But the coach said the Gold Cup is preparation. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they're singing from the same hymn sheet. So maybe he might get a telling off. He might get a talking to at some points. I don't know. Big up yourself there, Mr. Beckford. Good night to yourself. I don't believe a word that man says. That man says, the president, you didn't even ask the coach why he selected such a weak Gold Cup squad. We would never have seen that with Captain Horace Burrow, my apologies. Well, we have no way of knowing if he didn't ask. Perhaps he did. He seems a bit easygoing though, doesn't he? Mr. Ricketts, for a president. Certainly, presidents tend to be authoritative, cutthroat, ruthless. I don't think that he's ruthless. I don't think he's cutthroat. I just think that he just appears to be a nice guy. I don't think you want a nice guy as your president. You obviously don't want someone that's nasty, but I don't think you want Mr. Nice Guy as a president. That's just my opinion, not a fact, by the way. Going forward, Carol Anderson should always be selected for the midfield. He did really well over Isaac Hayden. I don't think that's going to happen, but big up to Anderson. I think Hayden is the preferred choice. That's what I kept on saying. I want to see fight. I want to see them care about wearing black, gold, and green. Even if they lose, I want to see the fight, like the Unity Cups. Tomorrow, again, is a must-win match. Goal by Curacao, so it seems like it's heating up. Pick up yourself, BM. Pick up yourself, Knight Rider as well. Lone Wolf. So you guys have your eyes on that game there. So 876 Jamrock. Pick up yourself. Jamrock says it was offside. That is the goal there for Guadeloupe. Did the ref go to the monitor? That is highway robbery. I don't think he did. I think I could see him doing this, listening in his earpiece. To be fair, the referee could have also sent off Anderson. Yeah, but that was it. Some players just can't bring out the tactics in the game, which I think that's the problem with Jamaican teams for the longest. Hard learners. You know what? You might be onto something there. McLaren should be fired now, says Amar. Mobe Guna, big up yourself. I hope you are well. Just tuning in, but what a caption, my captain. Big up yourself, sis. Big up yourself, bro. Peter Mystic, big up yourself. Am I not going to be here and not get a big up? Well, how can I big you up when you're not saying something? I'm not a mind reader. You have to drop a comment for me to say something about you, The great Lillian Thuram is from Guadeloupe. Lacazette, I believe, has relatives from Guadeloupe. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Wendy Renard, I think, was born in Guadeloupe. The great Wendy Renard. So yeah, guys, I think maybe someone touched on the fact that I think this were the exact words, but maybe we're dealing with some players who are just hard learners, slow learners. Takes a lot to drum home what you need of them. But perhaps we might need to change our formula. So rather than being heavy reliant on yes, genetics, we can maximize the benefits of relying on genetics, but perhaps we need to be smarter with our recruitment. Perhaps rather than saying it's all about pace, power, and strength, we might need to say, okay, so who is the brains box? Believe it or not, like, you do have educated black footballers. Paul Pogba is one of them, one of the most intelligent sports person, not just on the field of play, but also off it. But one of my gripe when journalists, particularly in this country, speak of Paul Pogba, some of them do massively downplay his intelligence, and can only wonder why that is. I think he speaks somewhat between 5 to 6 different languages. It does take an intelligent person to speak another language, let alone 4+ more languages on top of your mother tongue. So he is book smart. And I think it's safe to say he's street smart as well when he's playing football. One of the greatest to ever do it. Instrumental in winning his team the finest and most beautiful trophy on the planet. So when people talk about intelligent footballers, especially when you're dealing with midfielders, they don't tend to talk about. Well, I don't hear them talk about black players. I don't know. Don't know if that's how you guys feel, like myself. But maybe when he's doing his recruitment, he needs to also bear in mind, you know, where am I going to find those intelligent players, you know, players with the highest of IQ? Because they are out there. They're definitely out there. But also, you know, the gaffer has to take some responsibility as well. When you're coming out and talking about it's not about tactics, only Lord knows what you're saying in those team talks. Only Lord knows what the message is from the training ground. Because if you can't inspire the nation, how are you going to inspire the players themselves? Surely they go hand in hand. They complement each other. The inspiration should align with one another. You inspire your players. Your players go out there and inspire your nation. One way to galvanize that is by getting the applaudable results, putting in reputable and respected performances. So I should think, in an ideal world, when I'm hearing my president, Mr. Ricketts, saying that all eyes is on us wanting to win the World Cup. And yes, some people can say it's all about the money. Let me remind you, football is a business. It is a business, and he is the president, right? But my positive from that is that at least he's saying the idea is to win the Gold Cup. He wants to win the Gold Cup. And I think he touched on Damien Lowe, the vice captain, saying more of the same. And I'm sure couple of the players, if not all of them, are saying, look, we want to win the Gold Cup. Surely you've not decided to leave your loved ones. Most of these players have little families of their own. They've got their misses, wives and girlfriends. Surely you've not left your missus to come here and piss about. You should have just stayed at home with them then. Surely you're not here to just have a kick about with the lads. That's a waste of time. You could be, you know, cuddling up to your missus, cuddling up to your kids, which I think is way more appealing than going out there and waste your time. So I should think it's not a case of one saying, I can't say no because I won't get a World Cup call up for the qualifiers. Because look, it goes to show that you don't need to be playing football to get a call up with McLaren, right? So let me see what you guys are saying there in the comment section. Some just not on the level for international football that keeps getting picked. Yeah, there's some of them are just not levels, to be honest with you. How is every player hard learners? Culture. I think culture plays a role in it. I think the culture definitely needs to change. I think it's too comfortable, if I'm being completely honest. Max City, big up yourself. I think he's saying it is not about tactics, is due to the game moving past his old tactics. Still don't, I feel like sometimes you guys are being overly nice, to be honest with you. He said it's not about tactics because he doesn't have any. He's clueless. He also said it's not about midfield as well. My ears weren't fooling me. Each coach, same assistant, same problems. Got you. So maybe culture, right? What I was touching on, the ref giving Curacao a raw deal. Someone said 1-1, and when I checked, it was still 1-0 to Canada. Someone, Max City says it's what's going on? So should we flick over to that match? Because seems like there's a lot going on there, right? What's going on in the game against Canada? See you guys there in the comment section. Looks like there's a lot going on. So let's go and look at that Gold Cup fixture there. 88th minute, it's still 1-0 to Canada. So there was a VAR disallowed goal there for Curacao inside the 69th minutes. And this is a team that people are convinced that we're going to beat. I see so many people talking about, you know, it's only Curacao. You never want to underestimate your opponents. BM is like CONCACAF doesn't agree with Curacao, is moving too fast with development. Hold your horses. Is that what you're saying? Hold your horses. David Walker, pick up yourself. If this is the Curacao that Jamaica will play, Jamaica going to have a hard game. Well, if that's the case, thank God for the Gold Cup then, because now we know where we're at, right? So we won't be pissing about when it comes to the qualifiers and playing down to our opponents. I think that is all from me. I think I've chatted way too much. Been chatting for over an hour, I believe. Wow, almost 1 hour and 30 minutes. So I think that is that for me, guys. I think I've covered all grounds pertaining to the game itself. Spoke about Guadeloupe. Also spoke about the Reggae Boys. So positives and negatives there from both teams. There's a lot more that needs to be done according to Leon Bailey. Should we give that one another listen for those of you who are just joining? Let's listen to the post-match interview there with Leon Bailey. You can listen for yourself before I close off. I've got about maybe just a couple more minutes to go until I close off. All right.
Congratulations for the result and of course for being the player of the match. Please give us your impression of this match.
First of all, thank you, but honestly, I appreciate it. I won player of the match, but today for me, the player of the match is Andre Blake. For me personally, because he held us in the game today, and if it wasn't for him today, we wouldn't really got nothing out of the game. So, but as you can see, we have a lot of work to do. We felt strong from the very beginning of the game, but as you can see towards the end, it got really bad for us, and we were hanging on. And this is not how, if we want to win games, this is not how we have to compete. We have to be more dominant, and I think there's a lot of work to do, and I think we just have to realize that quick and try to do that and come back stronger for the next game.
It was a difficult game, how to face the last match of group stage.
Yeah, it's difficult, but you know, we got the 3 points, which was most important, obviously, but in terms of performance, I think we have a lot more work to do, and if we want to win the game on the 24th, we have to definitely come back stronger, work harder, and ensure that in moments like that we are stronger and we show more fighting spirit, more strength, more togetherness, and hopefully we can do that in the next game.
The player of the match, congratulations for the result and of course for being the player of the match. Please give.
Thank you, Max City. Perhaps he was. Perhaps I think it's one of those cases where his head is steaming hot. You asked him a question, emotions are running high, and he answered it. He didn't say nothing wrong, but he said there's a lot more work to be done. There's nothing wrong with what he said. Can he be punished for it? I don't think so. You gotta be very petty to punish him for that. He's being honest, and that's what you want to hear. You don't want him saying, vague things like we got the all important 3 points and that's that, because that will piss a lot of people off. At least when it comes to Leon Bailey, based on what he said in his post-match interview, we're all singing from the same hymn sheet. Have a rude awakening. Everyone wants to go to the World Cup. No easy games. No easy games. Yeah, I mean, he's being honest. You can't knock someone for their honesty. You can dislike them if you wish, but you don't punish people for being honest. Do something about it. Make sure that he's not honest again, because what you don't want is for him to keep on being honest if it's going to work against you. So if you're in your feelings about what he said, do something about it then. Make sure that he doesn't say that again. And the reason, the way to do that is to make sure that you sail on through to the next round, build on that, get better and better, and above all, qualify for the FIFA Men's World Cup taking place next year in the USA, Mexico, and Canada. Few more games to kick off. Well, one more game to kick off, I should say. Later on, in about an hour's time, you have El Salvador taking on Honduras. If you want to watch that one, you can. Looks like Canada this was going to be a 1-0 victory there for Canada over Curacao. I wonder who they fielded. Let's see what Canada's team's saying. So this is the team, Curacao, one of the teams there that the Reggae Boys will be facing off in the CONCACAF, CONCACAF Gold Cup qualifiers later on in the year. Garfield, Leslie, Blake always saves them. God sense, Crystal, big up yourself also. So, guys, I think we have reached the end of the show. Thank you so much for blessing me with a moment of your time. Feel free to ask me. I got about 1 more minute to spare. So feel free to throw some questions my way before I close off. don't think I'll be doing a show tomorrow. I do want to, you know, have some family time on Sundays. It's kind of something that I might be sticking to unless something comes up and I'm just like, you know what? I really and truly have to give you guys a show. So tomorrow, got a handful of games coming your way tomorrow, guys. Saudi Arabia taking on Trinidad and Tobago. Wow. USA taking on Haiti. Dominican Republic taking on Suriname. Mexico taking on Costa Rica. And then no more games there until Tuesday. Tuesday is when Jamaica takes on Panama. So let's see in the comment section before I close off. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. I appreciate. What the hell? Oh my God, they scored. They scored in the 94th minute. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it. Right, let's see how this one finishes then, guys. I love it. Wow. Let's say if they pull the plug on McLaren. I don't think they would, but for conversation's sake, that's a damn good question. So here it is. Now, I'm not saying sack him because, like I said, there's no guarantee that the next gaffer that will come in will get us back to the promised land. There's no guarantee that McLaren's going to do that either. I think the one positive that you can probably find some comfort in is that we've seen it in football that when you employ a new manager or a new head coach, they go through those honeymoon periods, and perhaps the honeymoon periods will be good enough to take us back to the promised land. That will be job done for so many, you know, pertaining to the federation, the team, the fan base, and so on. It will be great to say in our lifetimes, God willing, we've seen both our men's team and women's team. I know some of you with your ripe, tender age, well preserved there, you've actually managed to see both your men's and your women's team. Most of the 90s babies have yet to see that though. 90s babies and along, you know, not the ones who were old enough to remember 98. So they could see some conversations there around Papa and Paul Hall. I think there's some fairy tale story there. If it would be a fairy tale story, wouldn't it? If they were somehow reappointed head coach and manager, and they took us back to the promised land, that would be a story for the obvious reasons. The last time we were at the Men's World Cup, these guys played for us. So for them to take us back to the promised land, that would be some story. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the federation will stick with him. But who knows? I don't think that one day is going to happen. But it's like if you had a dream and you could just control that dream, then I think that would be what some people would love to see happen. It's just those Cinderella stories, isn't it? Beautiful moments, so to speak. Max City says Jamaica ain't beating this Curacao team. No time. I'm looking forward to Tuesday. Me too. Them old Curacao doing things we can only dream of doing. God doesn't like thieves. God not sleep. Max City says Jesse March breaking all the knuckles on his hands. He's livid. They scored before that, but they didn't get it. Okay, football gods then. Football God is saying we'll have the last laugh. We cooked if we don't. 876 said we're cooked if we don't improve. Will Big Advocate out coach Steve McLaren? It's not about tactics. This is a poor game for Canada. Blame Jesse Marsh. He could cost Canada the Gold Cup. To twist the question, let's say he qualifies us for the World Cup. Do you bring in a better coach for the actual speed his debut? This sounds like a soap opera. I think if he qualifies us for the World Cup, then don't be nasty. Depends on his contract. Is his contract to qualify us for the World Cup? And if he qualifies, take us to the World Cup. I'm not sure about the terms and condition of his contract. But it would be quite nasty. I'm not a fan of being nasty just for nasty sake. You know, I think that would be harsh. That's distasteful, irrespective of who would replace him. I think if the man qualifies us to the World Cup, let him take the team to the World Cup and see how that one gets on. Because that would be a dream come true for him as well, just like us. So yeah, let's not be evil for evil's sake. Brownman Security Sound says Curacao is a very good team. Garfield Leslie, when it doesn't matter anymore, that's when we're gonna improve. Maybe we can get Darren Moore to coach if he becomes available. Darren Moore's an excellent shout. But let's see what happens against Panama. Maybe that might trigger a response there from the Jamaica Football Federation. This game's still going on inside the 10th plus minute. JFF not going to hire anyone they can't control. That's 876. Energy 876. It's finished full time. That one finishes full time. So should we look at the group with that one there, guys? That one finishes full time. Let's look at the table. That's not what I want. It's not what I want neither. I think I got to do this a different way. This is upsetting me. Okay, let's change the screen. Let's go ahead and look at the table there, guys. Should be able to see this one on the screen in front of you, or at least I hope you can see it. So Canada been pegged back. So they got 4 points from my brain can't think, from 2. Curacao following them closely with 2 points from 2. You got El Salvador and Honduras playing later on. So Group B just got exciting, didn't it? I said El Salvador. I predicted El Salvador. I think I predicted Canada and El Salvador, but my heart wanted to say Curacao. Would love for Curacao to go through. But that is that, guys. That is that. If I'm being honest, I don't think he can qualify us. Well done, Advocate. That's an actual coach. Well, boy, I don't know what to say, guys, but if we think that it's going to be a walk in the park, it's not going to be no walk in the park, my friend. It's not going to be no walk in the park. And I think with Dick Advocate, that's a personal assignment. And we talk about that one closer to the time. We're going to beat Panama on Tuesday. Curacao showing Jamaica how to do their homework and compete against the so-called best in the CONCACAF. Do the brackets. Here we go again. You just know how to keep me here. So I already said a couple teams are almost guaranteed to go through to the next round. Those teams: Mexico, Costa Rica, and the host USA. So these 2 teams here. I think it's going to be, I want it to be Curacao and Canada in Group B. I think it might be, I think it might be El Salvador and now Canada, but I want it to be Curacao and Canada. And I obviously want it to be Panama and Jamaica, but it's a bit of a sticky one. I'm gonna trust my boys and say Panama and Jamaica through to the knockout round. USA, I think it's USA and Saudi Arabia, isn't it? Big up to Haiti and Trinidad and Tobago, though. And that, my friend, is that. I've stayed for an extra 10 minutes or 12 minutes with you guys. Massive points for Curacao. They can beat Honduras and go through. Would love for them to go through. So I'm going to have to love you and leave you. I know is trying his level best to keep me here, but I am tired, my friend. Steve will Oh, Steve lacks the football knowledge to take us to the promised land. It's not really giving you guys no optimism, is it? Is he? If Jamaica beat Panama Tuesday, I walk from Kingston to Montego Bay. They might call you a madman in that heat. Curacao showing Jamaica how to do their homework and compete against the so-called best in the CONCACAF. Guys, I'm going to have to love you and leave you. I am absolutely shattered. Oh, my eyes hurts. I'm not sure if I'll be back tomorrow. I kind of feel like I won't be. How much Panama won by yesterday? 1-0, I think. Yeah, they beat Guatemala 1-0. When will the Reggae Girls squad be announced? So the Reggae Girls game is about a week away now because I'm already in my Sunday. I should think by the latest Monday, we should get the squad announcement. Latest Monday. And yeah, we'll talk some more about the Reggae Boys. Sorry, the Reggae Girls. In due course. It is absolutely boiling here, guys. So I'm gonna love you and leave you. Thank you so much for blessing me with a moment of your time. If you haven't hit the like button, you are an enemy of progress. Why are you not hitting the like button? Please respect my time. Hit the like button. If you have not hit the subscribe button, then you're definitely an enemy of progress. Don't do that. Go ahead and hit the like button and the subscribe button. You know the content is worthy of your like and your subscription as well. So do subscribe to the channel. I'm not asking you for a super chat. It does not cost a penny. Like and subscribe to the channel. Don't be an enemy of progress. Don't just watch for. I'm not sure why you would watch and not hit the like button or the subscribe button. That's a little bit creepy. It's far too creepy for comfort. So please don't do that. Hello, enemy of progress. Yeah, enemy of progress. Hit the like and subscribe button. Simple as that's what we call them, enemies of progress. They will be there lurking in the background. You're so weird. You are so weird. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Like, be a good boy, be a good girl. Stop being an enemy of progress, okay? Sorry, I can't join tonight, but I'm extremely tired. Me too. Will be going bed shortly. Same here. Box cover, big up yourself. Good night. Guys, if I don't see you tomorrow, I do hope that you have a lovely Sunday. Thanks. Thank you for joining me. It's my absolute pleasure. Not sure what's on the dinner menu for you guys tomorrow, but I think I'm going to keep it very simple. I'm going to segue from the traditional rice and peas just because I can't be bothered and because it's hot and I'm not trying to spend too long in the kitchen. So I'm going to keep it very simple tomorrow. That is their name, enemy of progress. So yeah, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Put your feet up, let your hair down. I don't know what you do on Sundays, whether it's to clean the house, wash your hair. Obviously I'm speaking to the ladies. Men, I'm sure you guys wash your hair every day, especially if you got low cuts. Surely you wash your hair every day, right? But not to judge anyone. If you want to make it Sunday hair wash day, please go ahead, do whatever. Have something nice to drink or whatever it is you guys like to do whatever makes you happy. Point what I'm trying to say is prepare yourself for the week ahead. If I don't see you tomorrow, I do hope that you have a lovely Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And with that being said, have a smashing week when it comes. Thank you so much for blessing me with a moment of your time. If you haven't hit the like button, why haven't you done so? Please do go ahead and hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting on? You know how it goes. Until next time, take care.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.